I'm gonna edit out, you know, me sitting down and all that. Okay, make sure we good, we good. I don't know how my hair looking, but whatever.
Cool.
Okay, so I have my friend Mychel here with me because she went to ASU the whole year after me. We were both Matadors, so I wanted us to come and talk about Alabama State University and our experience with the exchange program. So if you don't know, the exchange program is the National Student Exchange Program is a program where you can travel to another university within the United States. Now, not all schools allow the program, but you're given a list and you're able to choose from that list which school you want to go to.
And on that list, you choose it either by major or by preference. So for me, I looked up HBCUs because I wanted to go to an HBCU. And I went to study at the other school, but I didn't do any classes in my major. I just wanted to go and get the experience. So I took fun classes. I didn't really focus on my major classes when I went.
I'm glad you said that because that was a point I wanted to bring up. I forgot to say. So why did you decide to do the MSc program?
Oh, you asking me?
Yeah, we both. You gonna answer first, and then I'm gonna answer second.
Oh, y'all see what she do? How she do? She want me to go first.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Like,
wait, let me see.
You the guest.
No. You the guest today.
The guest goes first.
So why did you decide to do the NSC program?
Okay, I wanted to experience HBCU. So the school that I go to, the black population at the time was like, probably like less than 13%. So
I'm thinking 9.
Yeah, it's really, really low. You can count how many black people was at the school. So in my mind, you know, I grew up in Atlanta. So last minute, during like the transition from my 11th grade year to my 12th grade year, me and my mom moved back to California unexpectedly. So I already kind of had it in my mind to go to a HBCU until that was kind of taken away from me when I moved out here, because I was here for a whole year, and by the time we applied to colleges, they told me that I would have to pay out-of-state tuition because I would be considered a resident because I was here a year. So I didn't get that experience, or what I thought I would experience at college where I was at, even though I loved my school. So I wanted to go ahead and go through the NSC program to go to HBCU.
For me, I think I'm the opposite. I haven't really been around a lot of black people. She came from Atlanta. I mean, in Los Angeles I did, but then I moved to Orange County, which is predominantly white people. Out of my high school, I think it was like a class of 200, only 6 of us were black. So I kind of didn't really have that experience. So I really, I didn't know, I kind of needed that experience because it really taught me a lot. But I didn't even know what an HBCU was. My mom, she's a graduate of Clark Atlanta. She's in a sorority and everything, she pledged, but for me, I didn't know like what an HBCU was. So if y'all don't know, it's a historically black college or university, and that was new information to me. So when I found out like I can go to a school where it's all black people, I was on. I said, okay, I gotta go. Yeah. And so I didn't know what the NSC program was either, but I was just walking around the campus and somebody stopped me and was like, go check out the international office. So I went in there and started to just get the rundown, and then I knew that my friend right here, Lena, she went, so I contacted her and asked her to give me the rundown, and I ended up at the Alabama State University.
Same school that I went to 1 year later.
1 year before me.
Yeah, you went 1 year later. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so why did you pick Alabama State University, and was it your first choice? Because you know you get 3.
That wasn't my first choice. I think my first choice was Texas A&M. No, Texas Prairie View.
I would put you in your head. That's the same
in my
school.
head, you know,
that's the same school that I put down first that I wanted to go to. But you know why I didn't go to that school?
Tell me.
I got scared because during that same season, this is when the whole Sandra Bland incident had happened. So I was already telling my family, like, I'm going to drive from California to Texas so I don't have to worry about like a plane. And if you know her story, she was driving from her state to Texas Prairie View because she had got a job there. So, and then, you know, she gets pulled over on the way, and then we know how the story ends. But that really scared me. That was one of the stories that I couldn't even like sleep right, because like just the pictures of her, things like that. So I became scared, like, what if I drive there and I get pulled over and something happens to me? So literally the day that the paper was due to like turn it into the NSC office, I changed it to Alabama State, and I went off of their demographics. I wanted a school that population was as high on the black percentage as possible. I think they were at like 91%. And then also, the school is only 2 hours away from Atlanta. Because I wanted to go to school in Atlanta, but they didn't have a school in Atlanta on the list outside of Georgia State. And Georgia State is not an HBCU. So I was like, well, I'll just go to Alabama State, and then if I want to drive to Atlanta to see my friends or whatever, I could do that. And that's how I picked ASU.
Okay, so we kind of had the first choice, the same too, but
why was that your first choice?
Look, I don't know. I just said black school, black school, black school, black school. Check it, okay? And Texas, I always thought, okay, Texas is a pretty cool state, but at that time I was kind of ignorant, and I didn't know. I just said, oh, Texas is a cool state. I mean, it is, right? Yeah. It is, but honestly, I picked ASU because my pops is from the South. He's from Georgia, and my mom, she's from the islands. But I had no experience of choosing school, so I went up to I do stuff and then I tell my parents after, but with this I was like, okay, this is something that I need to discuss with. So I brought this information to my family, and I was like, I'm thinking of doing this program. Well, I'm already signed up for the program. These are the 3 schools that I chose. Look, I had to do a whole proposition. I was like, this is why I want to go to the school. I had to look up the weather, I had to look up the demographics, I had to look up even the politics, I had to look up neighboring communities, I had to look up what classes, I had to look up just so much to be able to like convince my parents that that was the best decision. And ASU was the best decision because of the civil rights movement. I just knew just a little bit about that, what history books told me or convinced me to believe. So I wanted to go see that firsthand, and finding out that Alabama State University was literally next door to Martin Luther King's house, it was just very historical for me. So I wanted to feel that experience. I want to not live vicariously through other people. I want to be there and experience that. And yeah, and the horn, hold this for me real quick. Let me show them. Y'all know the Hornets, the dancers, when they be
so done.
I wanted to be up in there with the bumblebees and the Hornets and everything. So I said, let me just go over there and see what Alabama State has to offer me, and it has to offer me a lot. So thank you.
Yeah, she had a way more amazing time than I did. We'll get into that later though.
Yeah.
But no, she's right. Montgomery is very rich in history, especially for African Americans. Like, they have a street there. One guy, shout out to KT, he showed me around the city when I got there, and it was one specific spot I remember. It was where they used to sell the slaves at. So it was like, this is where they would come and put the slave on the what is it called?
The auction block.
The auction box.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you could, when you walk through certain cities, you could feel the history, and it does something to your spirit. It kind of makes you walk a different way when you know what your people have been through to get to where you're at now. So yeah, I definitely appreciated the city for stuff like that. Me and my other friend, we went to the Selma Bridge, took pictures there. Yeah, it's very rich in history.
Nah, but Lena, for real, you just mentioned like your spirit feels it. Like, I was telling people about my experience at HBCU, and they're like, oh cool. Like, when you tell people your experience, they say, how was your time? You just say great, but it was more than just great. I mean, for me, so just knowing that, like, being there and feeling how my ancestors felt, and just seeing all of it, even just knowing that, like, down the street was a plantation, or down the street is like, there's still signs where it says no black people. Those signs are framed because it shows that, like, you have to understand where you come from to know where you're going. But, like, at the same time, this stuff is real and it happened, and we choose to ignore it, especially if we're from the north. We're in California, so we don't really see that. We don't live that all the time. Well, we do live that experience, but different. It's a different feeling to that. Like, you perceive life differently. So just being in Alabama, in Montgomery, seeing that rich history was very eye-opening for me. Yeah.
So when you got there, what was your first impressions? Like,
hot as hell. No, look, hot as hell. Bees, just bugs everywhere. Look, I got off the plane. I'm just all over here itching already, sweating. Just put deodorant on, already just drenched. I said, look, I need a little breeze. Breeze was hot. It was humid.
Yes, humidity all the way up.
Humidity.
Your hair looking like this the whole time.
Girl, my hair cute. What you talking about?
But not when you came off the plane looking like this, and then 30 minutes later.
Like, hold up.
I didn't bother straightening my hair. I did not bother straightening my hair at all. That was a waste of my life.
Look,
even braiding my flat iron. Why did I do that? That was a waste of time.
I wouldn't even done it.
I went during the fall too.
No, nah. Look,
it wasn't cold at all. It was hot the whole time.
But when it was cold, it was cold. So let me tell you. Let me break it down. So I got off the plane. First of all, I'm on the plane. I talk to everybody. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? And I just realized when I went to Alabama State, I realized that I don't know where I got that from. That's a Southern thing. In California, Los Angeles, people don't really speak to each other. And I'm like the only one. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? This is people looking at me like, who is this? So when I got to Alabama and I'm over here saying hey to everybody and I'm getting responses, I said, hold up, wait a minute. I was feeling it. And I said I could stay here for the time being. I couldn't live there my whole life, but for the time being. It was just right off the plane. It was amazing. And me, I'm like a wanderer, so like I wasn't afraid. Like I wasn't like, oh, I need somebody to come pick me up. I hopped in a stranger's car. I don't advise. Yeah, I hopped in a stranger's car because I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute. People just, it was a van too. It didn't say taxi, but the guy was like, taxi services over here, taxi services. So I said, sure, taxi services. Wait a minute, y'all take cars?
You want my social too? Like,
nah, I was not like that. But I literally, because at this point I didn't know anybody. I went there not knowing anybody. So I said, let me just start making acquaintances now. As soon as I got off the plane. So the guy, was a man. Turns out he was a taxi driver for a church service or something like that. He invited me to go to his service. Yeah, but that's how I got to Alabama State. And as I'm driving, I'm just seeing the streets. Like, it does not look like streets in California. Like the stoplights. Like just little things. I was just very observant. I was
describe the stoplights.
You just
they hang off of. Okay, so listen. In the South, they have way more severe weather than we do on the West Coast. So like ours is on a metal pole, and then it has the light attached to this metal rod. Out there, theirs is on like a telephone pole. Yeah. But that's because when it has strong winds, it just goes with the wind or whatever. It's a reason for it being like that, but it kind of makes the place look, I don't know, it doesn't look as modern for it to be like that.
Yeah, and that's another thing, the buildings, which I just was amazed at. I love the architecture. It was like brick buildings. Like it was a lot of brick. I didn't see a lot of cement. So it looked like its time. It looked like I was traveling through the history. Low key, it looked like I was driving through.
Step back into slavery.
Yeah. Not into slavery. Look, we're not doing that. Not by choice.
I'm just playing.
So,
just playing.
That's not even why we laughing.
I'm not even Kanye.
Look,
no, but seriously, there was different. You know, when you step into a time period and your emotions start changing, it's like you know you can feel the history. So I do feel like I stepped into the time warp a little bit.
Yeah.
But when I got there, well, first of all, how was it when you first got to ASU's campus? Like, what was that like? Did you step into your dorm? How was that?
No, I got there when the offices were like about to close because the way my plane schedule was set up, like I got there with like 5 minutes to spare, and I'm running around, and the guy was kind enough to drive me in places because if I would have walked with my suitcase, I would have been walking. The campus has hills, like, and yeah. So I got there, and the campus, I was just looking around. It was pretty empty for the most part. But at night, everybody came out. So during that time, it was probably like closer to 4 something. And yeah, they called the campus the yard. So I got to the yard, and people were just looking at me. I guess people could tell I wasn't from there. I don't know how they could tell I wasn't from there. People automatically was just coming up to me, trying to help me. Can I help you? Can I help you with your bag? Please, can I? Yeah, just really friendly.
The men are definitely more like
bold.
You know, hospitable.
Yeah.
You know, they definitely have a little more chivalry than the West Coast. Because out here, dudes will watch you struggle with your bags. Like, wow, that looks heavy.
Right.
It's just not the same.
Yeah.
So, did you step into your dorm? Like, how was that?
I just remember the first day I was out in the yard, like, just talking to everybody. I don't even remember going into no, actually, my dorm wasn't available at the time. So I just met a random girl, and I was asking her, I was like, yo, can you hold my bags for me because my room's not available, they can't find my key, or it was something like that. So I left my bags in her room and didn't pick it up until like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock that night. So I didn't even see my dorm until I was about to go to sleep.
When I got there, first things first, I got there and I was expecting, my plan was I'm gonna get off my plane and I'm gonna catch an Uber and Lyft to my dorm. They don't have Uber or Lyft, so you really are stuck kind of hopping into a stranger's car, because if you don't know anyone, how are you going to get there? Like, their bus system is a lie. They'll tell you that the bus is coming at this time, the bus it's not coming. It's not coming. You're wasting your time. Okay. So there was a lady there. She had a van, and she told me she was a taxi company. So I guess I hopped into a stranger's car too.
So same thing.
So we went. And she took me to ASU or whatever. She was telling me, like, take my card, and if you need transportation, just call me and I'll come pick you up.
They might be family. They might be related.
Just might. Right. That lady played me.
I remember.
She played me. Okay, so, like, the first day that I was there, I was, like, realizing I needed so many things. So I tried to go to Walmart. I called her. She took me the longest possible route to Walmart. That Walmart was 1.3 miles away from campus, and I had to pay like $27 to get there. Okay, I know that she took me the long route because when I eventually got friends and they took me to Walmart,
5 minutes.
It's down the street. It's really down the street. I swear we hopped on the freeway.
She said California people got money.
Right.
Not true. Not true.
I was broke, but I got to my dorm. And there was nobody there. First of all, my dorm was dirty. Like, it was so dirty. Now, I won't say, like, that's not typical of most dorms. Because when I was a freshman and I lived in the dorms here at my university, it was dirty too. Yeah. But this was something that I was not expecting. Because, like, even, like, okay, so they have beds, right? And then underneath the bed is a, like, drawers. And in my drawers, it was still clothes in there. I still in my life. It was still clothes in there, and I'm just. Then they have a little dresser that has, or a big dresser that has 6 drawers in it, and that's supposed to be split between you and your roommate. The middle one, there was no drawer. Like it came out and they never replaced it. And I'm just looking like, wow, like this looked like this is the room they skipped over. Like, I'm supposed to come in, the RA is supposed to come in at the end of the semester and see what the room doesn't have. They did not do that. There's supposed to be a light underneath your desk. Mine didn't work.
Something was hanging. You had wires hanging down off your ceiling, just wires hanging.
Yeah.
Because the one of the things were missing or something like that. I remember pictures you showed me.
Yeah.
Pictures.
Yeah. The ceilings in there are the kind, like,
you can push up.
Yeah, you can push up and move them around, move the little squares around. And we had a very bad ladybug infestation. So we had put me and my roommate put tissue in the cracks, because I don't like sleeping and then like bugs being on my face. Like, that's just, I don't care if it is ladybug. So we come in our room and we had all these tissue in the ceilings. I have videos. I was insert the videos. And then on top of that, like, it was just, the room was just really, really dirty. Like, it was just really dirty, and I was just like, not right, seriously, like, when the last time you wiped this desk off? So I know whoever lived there last did not use the desk at all, like, at all. So I went and I got a big rug that covered the space between my roommate's bed and my bed, just the part of the floor that we walked on, because the floor in there, it's not carpet, it's like it's like a hospital floor. It's not like, because you stayed in Bessie Estelle, right? Yeah. It's not regular apartment floor. It's like think of going to the emergency room, the floor they have in there. It wasn't nothing. And then the walls are like that white brick. Yeah. It wasn't very, like,
aesthetically pleasing
at all. And I guess because the school that I went to, like, our dorms are really lit.
But guess what? We have funding.
Yeah.
HBCUs don't really, so I have to get that into.
But I was accepting of whatever conditions that it was in. I was just more upset with the cleanliness of it. Like, I don't like being in a dirty environment. So that's why I went and invested so much money on my room. But so we had the room. The first day that I was there, the same thing, my room wasn't ready. But they told me, like, well, we're not gonna have you out on the street, so we'll give you a key to the room. But yeah, my roommates didn't come till a few days later. Yeah, I was there by myself. And I think I met the guy KT who showed me around. I think I met him either that day or later on that day, him and this other DJ. And they were the ones who did all the parties on campus, so that was like the plug. But the first party I went to, I ended up leaving because I was just, it was too hot. They had the audacity to have a party, a house party, and then have no AC on. It's hotter in the house than it is outside, and it's already hot outside at 10 o'clock at night because it's so humid. We in here sweating. Like, I understand why now they be in parties and they, instead of dancing, they do the sing-along stuff. Like, you see at the parties there, they're in a group singing along to the music instead of actually dancing. It's too hot. It's just too hot. But we'll get to that, okay?
AC make noise, but nothing comes out. Just noise.
Just an illusion. Okay, so what did you like the most and the least about your dorm experience?
The dorm?
Yeah, your dorm experience, number 6, babe.
What did I like the most about my dorm experience? Not my exact dorm. I just like that in the dorm hallways, you could just knock on people's doors and they won't like be upset if you just knock on their door. At least for me, people were more friendly. But my dorm, I didn't really spend much time in my dorm. I just figured I was there for such a short time that I'm gonna be out my dorm as much as possible. So I just went to my dorm to sleep. And after a while, I stopped really sleeping in my dorm. I would have sleepovers, so I didn't really use my dorm as much as I should have. But the experience, like Lena explained, outside the cleanliness, they were very small. And I remember being 2 sides, and then it was a short hallway in between, and then a bathroom. But it just seemed very small and cluttered. Good thing I didn't bring a lot of stuff because I wasn't staying too long. But for somebody who brought a lot of stuff, it didn't look like a lot of space. But yeah, the dorms.
I don't know how the students.
I can't really complain.
The dorm was all female, so we were not allowed to have guests past a certain hours, curfew, which I liked. Yeah. I liked to a certain extent because I feel like if I was when I was a freshman, because most people who stay in the dorms are freshmen. If I was a freshman and we had those same rules, it would have kept everyone focused on what they're supposed to be focused on. You know what I'm saying? Our dorms, the co-ed, so right across from my dorm was 4 guys who lived in this other apartment. So I mean, it all worked out, but I'm just saying, like, and then they were saying that some situation with rape on campus. I think it's always been that way where they've had the separate, but I think they've kept it separate for certain reasons. They do have buildings that were co-ed, but even in those buildings, it would be all girls on one floor and then all guys on the next floor. Like, they weren't directly across from each other. So yeah, that was one big difference that I was like, okay. And then the whole curfew thing.
And we had dorm mothers and dorm fathers. I've never heard of that. I've seen that in movies. But we had dorm people that regulate, show me your ID, let me make sure you live here, stuff like that. We don't have dorm mothers and stuff.
I like that because like, if I feel like if something happened to me, somebody could ask her, like, when's the last time you've seen her? Because in the South, like over here, everything's pretty kind of open. Like, we have trees and stuff, but there it's like living in the middle of a forest. Like, it's
camera cut off, but we're back.
So I was talking about the trees. Yeah, I did feel a little bit of a sense of security because I'm not gonna lie, like there were times where I didn't feel as safe because there's times I had to walk. Like, I have some friends who lived off campus and they're like, they don't see a problem with you walking home, but to me it's like that back street from the side of the school, it's dark and it's a lot of trees and there's cars that are zooming by and it's just like, it's just easy to get snatched up. So I wasn't trying to be that girl because a lot of people didn't know me. If something were to have happened, I don't know how long it would have taken for like my roommate to have said something because she didn't seem to have cared if I was there or not anyways.
Same.
Same. So okay, so there's that. What else about the dorms?
Shout out Mama Wolfo. She's my dorm mother.
I don't remember my dorm mother's name. But you know what? They did have a lot of like, okay, so our dorm, when they had events, that's just for the residents, it would be in the basement of the dorm. And I remember they had one event where they were, I forget what they were talking about, but I remember at the end they gave us black hair care products, like goodie bags with like ORS olive oil hair moisturizer or whatever. I said, only an HBCU would give you this in a goodie bag. Like,
wait a minute.
That was amazing. That was amazing. I love that.
And they black owned too. Black hair care. I love it.
Love it. But yeah, I didn't really meet nobody until well, I would say I didn't meet people. I had class, so of course I met people, but like I didn't really befriend anyone like that until almost midway through the program. Like, cause I had people that I knew. I go to their houses, we have projects together. But as far as like outside of that guy KT and his friend Josh and maybe their friends, I didn't really have friends there yet until midway when I met another girl, my friend Tiara. She was in the NSC program. She was coming from Jackson State to ASU, and she hadn't met anyone either until she and I started hanging out. So like when it came to what was it called, Thanksgiving, I wasn't about to fly all the way back to California for Thanksgiving, so I went to her mother's house in Mississippi, and we went. I had Thanksgiving with her. So, and that helped because she had a car. So if I needed to get around, I could call her. So that really helped. But
wait, what was her name?
Tiara.
Tiara.
Yeah.
Tiara was my roommate too.
Yeah, you told me. You told me. You see how this is crazy?
No, for real. Like, we went. She lived in Mississippi, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we drove out to her house for Thanksgiving. She's just be inviting all the NSC students.
Right, right. She has a little cousin named Trey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry putting your business all out here, Tiara. So yeah, that's funny. But yeah, she was a good friend, and she really helped me get around. And she was, you know, we go to the games together. Yeah. So it really was just me and her the whole time that I was there, and I was cool with that because even though like I'm not as Mychel, we can go on campus right now, and Mychel will have like 3 new numbers in her phone. I'm gonna have the same amount of numbers that I walked on campus with. I'm just not that person that's about to approach you and say hello. But when you have a personality like Mychel's, it's easy to adapt to any environment because you're, you know, open to just meeting new people. I'm more so you kind of have to approach me.
Right.
Yeah, like you kind of have to approach me. And I'm friendly, but I'm just not the person that's about to like risk being awkward.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Trying to be a friend or
she cute. She cute. She gets snatched up.
So yeah, that was that. All right, what's our next question?
Yeah, sorry, I was on my phone, y'all. I literally typed in as I'm gonna show y'all. Look, I literally typed in what kind of what? It's not working? Lean.
Focus. You're moving too fast.
You're moving too fast. Move. Okay, let it focus. Let it focus. Bam! Typed in ASU, and I literally was just looking through my looking through.
Wow.
Looking through. Shout out to everybody that made my ASU experience. If y'all see y'all
that's crazy.
Yeah, so I was just going down memory lane, just checking.
That's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so what's your exchange school, ASU? Was it academically easier or more challenging than your home school? And did your GPA suffer?
My GPA did suffer because of a photography class. I got a C. That was my first C. My only C. Because I was lazy. I thought photography was easy, but my professor, he was like a mentor to me, and he was not having it. But academically easier, as far as the curriculum, I think I can't really compare that because the curriculum was so different. Like what we were learning about there, it was kind of like 19 years of my life that I did not learn about. So it was kind of like I was trying to play catch up. The books that we were reading were by Black authors. Our teachers were Black, so that was something I had to adjust to. So that kind of all affected how I performed academically. Like the teachers and the classrooms were smaller. So at our school, it's like smaller. What, 44,000 at our campus, and at ASU, I don't remember how many, but it was
not even a fraction of that.
Yeah. Students. So I was able to focus more, and I was able to meet more of my classmates, all of my classmates. So it just made the environment more approachable and more. It was like easier to learn it. I wasn't feeling like kind of nervous to speak up. Everybody was just warm and welcoming, so I didn't feel like I was. If I said the wrong answer, then I'm gonna be like made fun of or something like that. Like the teachers even were like the teachers that were men were kind of like papas, and the teachers that were women that were like mamas. So like they're like, baby, you need anything, come to my office hours and we can go through this work together and make sure like you're understanding it. And out here we don't, our teachers, it takes a lot for your teachers to really get to know you on a one-on-one level. But out there,
if your teachers as a Pan-African Studies teachers, they usually do like,
oh yeah, Africana Studies department at our school, yeah, but that's because it's Africana Studies. It's for the Black community. But if it's like in your regular classes like biology,
no, it's a done.
It's a no. we both did bio.
Yeah.
No. So yeah. So
we did a lot together, Mychel. I think we don't realize.
We did a lot together. But yeah, so I think just the curriculum was more what I was focused on, because I majored in deaf studies. At first I was doing bio, but and yeah, so when I went out there, it was just, I wanted to learn because it was more intriguing. Like what I was learning it was a benefit to me, and it was interesting, and it was for me. So I had no complaints on what I was learning. And if I had, and they made it fun too. It was more like communal. It wasn't like individualistic, like you do this, you like, everybody would come together. We didn't, if one person didn't understand, everybody would try to help that person understand. Like it wasn't single-minded, or it wasn't like all for me, it was everybody. So I really got that communal aspect out of it, which made learning more enjoyable.
Yeah. I would have to say my GPA definitely did suffer, because I had to take, listen, I sent them before I got there, because you register for your classes before you even go. I sent them the classes that I was trying to register for. And
they didn't have none of my classes. Just
when I got there, they act like, oh, we don't have no record of no classes that you're supposed to be in, so you have to pick what's left. They registered me in a 6-week chemistry course. You don't do that to someone like me. Chemistry's not my thing. So I thought I was signed up for a semester-long chemistry class. It's in 6 weeks. By the end of the class, we had only finished 7 out of the 10 chapters. The whole class was failing so hard that the teacher had to curve the grade super hard, super hard for us to even pass. So, and I wouldn't recommend anything like that, because when you don't have that foundation, it messes up you moving forward in every other chemistry class. Like me not learning what I needed to learn in that chemistry class messed me up in every other chemistry class. And at my university, because I'm a nutrition and dietetics major, I had to take every single chemistry the school has. We had to take organic chemistry, biochemistry. If you don't have regular intro to chemistry down, yeah, you suffer, you fail, you got to retake classes. So I didn't like that. And I had another class, a psychology class. I won't name the professor, but if you're an ASU student, you know exactly who I'm talking about. And this professor, his class really wasn't hard at all, but he tried to make it seem like it was. And he, like, the way, it was very interesting the way he set up his class. But what I thought was funny was, this professor, I bring this up because this type of dynamic, I think, would have never been okay at my university. But because it's an HBCU, everybody's just like, whatever. So the professor was like, listen, if y'all need extra credit, bring me some hot wings. Oh my mama. Like, he had 2 specific types that he liked from a wing joint across the street, down the street, right? Okay. So he had 2 specific flavors that he liked. He was like, you bring me these and you get 5 points, you bring me these and you get 10. Like, and when I tell you, students was coming to class with that brown bag full of his wings in it, and I'm just like, wow, this is a joke. And then he would say stuff like, for those people who are Greek, y'all know that he was out of line for this. People would be in class half asleep. Now this professor is Greek, so people would be in class half asleep, and he would ask them in front of the whole class, "Hey, you online? You pledging?" Like, what?
You not?
You know he can't answer you. He was reckless. That professor was so reckless. Oh my god, so reckless. So yeah. I took that class, and I took another class in this building way in the back of the school. It was only like maybe 8 of us in the classroom, and you know everybody don't always show up every day. So on average, it'd be like 5 of us in the class. It was interesting, and the book that we used was super old. Super old.
It's like hand-me-down material or something like that.
Yeah, nothing was updated. You know, like at my school, you got to get the new edition for everything, because they're not trying to let you get a discount on the old edition. So you got to get the new edition every year. But yeah, I think the learning environment was definitely different. I wouldn't say it was harder than my university. I was about the same, I would say. But yeah, my GPA definitely did suffer, and a part of that had to do with them not having my schedule right. I feel like as NSC students going to that particular school, they don't really take good care of you. I feel like we weren't taken care of really well. My schedule was all over the place. I told them, because when I got there, even though I knew my dorm did not have a kitchen or anything like that, I was expecting there to be some place for me to like store my food.
Yeah, we ain't got no refrigerator right now. So we use the AC vents to keep our food cold. Ain't that about nothing?
So I went and got like a little refrigerator because I cannot eat the same thing every single day. They have
the cafeteria. I like.
But no. Okay. The other place inside, that the little food court. Like they have a little food court, but the only thing that was ever open was the Subway.
They have 5 restaurants. Subway was the only one open.
Yeah, 5 restaurants, only Subway's ever open. And when I got there, they only had to drink. They only had sweet tea, and like they was just like a lot of the ingredients they did not have. Man, okay, this story, when I was first time I went to the Subway, there's a guy working behind the counter, and I have on this top, it's like, you know, like this type of cut, and he goes, now the guy is clearly like homosexual, whatever, you can tell by the way he's dressed. So he goes, oh my God, are those your real boobs? And I'm like, yeah, and I'm laughing because like my boobs are nothing like to where you would think that I had surgery or something, but I was flattered. So he goes, well, can I touch him? Now because he's gay, I'm like, whatever. I'm thinking he's gonna do something like this, like poke it. Nah.
What did he do?
Dude reached across the counter and grabbed a handful and was like, wow. And I was just like, what? What?
And there's a lot of people?
That's so bold. Oh my God. Yes, there was people there. And you know what was crazy? When I came back like the next day to get some food, he tried to act like I was a new member. Like, don't act like you don't know me. You didn't have my whole boob in your hand. Don't act like you don't know who I am. So yeah. That was and then they have a cafeteria, but they serve pretty much the same thing every day. I can't eat the same thing every day.
Fish fried Wednesdays, fried chicken Fridays.
I feel like we had 2 totally different experiences in the caf, because I never heard of that.
Every Wednesday they had fried fish. Every Friday they had fried chicken.
But you know what the situation may have been though? You probably consistently went in there. After a few days of the same thing, I'd rather starve. I can't eat the same thing like that. I would get those, what is it called? Would you put it in the microwave? The meal.
Hot Pockets?
No. What are they called?
Lean Cuisine?
No, not the brand, but just what they're called.
Microwavable?
Like microwavable.
Frozen food?
Frozen food, yeah. I would get from this vegan brand. I think it's called Miss Amy's or something like that. I would just get that because I cannot eat the same thing every day. You guys don't have many vegetarian options. I don't like it. So just know when you go there, it's not many options for food. Then there's a Burger King. Burger King, like I would say it was walking, kind of walking distance if you felt like walking that far. So there's Burger King. The Burger King delivered. So the Burger King could bring you food. So I was like, oh, bet. Now at this time I wasn't eating meat. So the only thing that I was gonna do was get like a large fry and their Hershey's pie. So I called them, I made my order, they're like, okay, it should be there in about 35 minutes to an hour. And I'm thinking, first of all, y'all could walk here in 5 minutes. that is ridiculous. So I'm waiting, and an hour passes and I haven't heard nothing about my food. So I called there, and they're like, oh, the guy who's supposed to deliver your food, he just went on break. He won't be back for an hour. So you can get your food in about 3 or 4 hours. I said, I just cancel my food. Like, what? I'm hungry now and you telling me I gotta wait 3 or 4 hours for some fries and a Hershey's? And no. Like, and the way that they handle you, because everybody's black, it's just like unprofessional. Because like, we cool. You black, I'm black. Why you tripping? I'm hungry. Stop playing with me. Like, it's not many options to eat around there. One of the main things I didn't like is that there's not many options for food, especially past a certain hour. Like, the caf closes early. Like, that thing, it closes at like
5? No, like 5 or 6. Really
so if I'm hungry at 8 or 9 o'clock, I don't know what you're about to do.
And then nothing's like really in walking distance. So if you didn't have a car, like we didn't have cars, it wasn't in walking distance anyways. But it was just one street that had a lot of stuff, but in order to get there you needed a car. And most of those places closed early too. So if you wanted food after a certain time, it was only Taco Bell. And I don't mess with fast food like that. And at the time too, I wasn't even like eating meat like that either. So I just went in the caf because it was always something going on. Alright then, alright. Boy, get it, boy, get it. Hit the elbows, tell him you ain't. my goodness. Who do not got no home training? I gotta know. Other than that, like the food wasn't really nutritious.
That's a word. Nutritious.
Yo, we college graduates. I promise. It's just my brain's off right now. But yeah, it's not nutritious at all.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my number one complaint about that experience. That's an everyday thing. That can make you depressed when you don't have food to eat. Like, are you hungry? Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Next question.
She playing with this drink. Y'all see, I done tone mine up.
First of all, my cup is bigger. First of all. Let's do it side by side.
It's 2 cents bigger. It's 2 cents bigger.
Okay, and mine just filled all the way to. Don't put your rim by my rim like yours is the same. Yours is smaller.
Oh. You playing? That's what I'm saying. You playing?
Okay, so how was your social?
Wait a minute. She been asking me questions first. My turn.
Okay.
Let's see.